Welcome back. Today we'll be going into coordinate geometry and we'll just look at the basics. Before we dive into our example, let's have a little review on what we learned in the past few videos, which are gradient, midpoint, distance, parallel lines, perpendicular lines, and the gradient intercept form. So in the green highlighted, I have put in the formulas where you can see it all in one page. If you are unsure on how to use these particular formulas, just look back onto the previous videos just to give you guys a little refresher. Now, with coordinate geometry, there are many words that we need to know, but two words that are really key is collinear and bisect. Okay. Collinear basically means that multiple or various points lie on the exact same line. Now, if you get given a question where it says, okay, well, I've got these points, show me if they lie on the exact same line. Now, to do that is to use the gradient intercept form and the gradient formula first. So find the gradient of two of those points, then create the equation, and then put those points that you were given in the question into the formula and see if you get given the exact same coordinate or not. Okay. Bisect basically means cut in half, and it must be equal. Okay. I'll keep it as that. Now, with these types of questions for coordinate geometry, there'll be some questions where you need to use more than one of the formulas. A good example is when I explain about collinear, okay, where you have to use the gradient intercept form, you have to use the gradient form, okay. Those two formulas that I need to use, as well as the skill of substituting, okay. So don't be afraid that you need to do more than one thing, okay. That's really, really typical. Now, in our example, it says the triangle A, B, and C has vertices A, -2, 0, B, 2, 1, and C, 1, -3. Find the length of the sides AB, BC, and AC using the distance formula. Now, looking at this example, this is very, very simple. Okay, it tells you what formulas that you need to use. In this case, you need to use the distance formula, and you need to find the length. So anytime that a question says find the length of a certain thing, we use distance formula. So this example isn't as complicated. You don't have to use more than one thing. This is just using distance formula, okay? But please mind that there will be some questions where you need to use more than one thing. So you have to read the question carefully. All right, so first things first. I'm going to draw a triangle, okay? Because that's what we're dealing with. And it has the vertices A, B, and C, whose coordinates are going to be -2, 0, and 2, 1 for B, and for C, it's 1, -3. All right, so I have labeled that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to label each side. This side here, okay, that side is basically the side AB. This, if you could already guess it, is BC, and lucky last is AC. So I need to find the length of those sides. So now let's start off with the length of AB. Now, before doing this, right, I'm going to write my formula. Reason being is, as I've said it multiple times before, is so that you can get used with the formula, so you get used to it. So I'm going to write down square root x2 minus x1 whole squared plus y2 minus y1 whole squared. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, with my points, I'm going to label it, as always, x1, y1, x2, y2, and just put it into the formula. My x2 is 2 minus my x1, which is -2 whole squared, plus y2, which is 1 minus 0 whole squared. This here becomes a positive because they're exactly the same sign. Okay. becomes positive or it becomes a plus. So that means this equation will turn into 4 squared, which is 16, plus 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So my answer is square root of 17, square root 17 for B. I need to not forget that the units are units because it didn't give me it didn't give me if it's centimeters, meters, or kilometers. All right, I figured out AB. Let's figure out BC. All right, do the exact same thing. Okay. I'm going to write my formula, x squared minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1. Sorry if I said x1. x2 minus x1 whole squared. All right, so let's do it again. I'm dealing with the BC, so I'm dealing with point B and point C. So I'm going to rewrite and label it x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so my x2 is 1 minus my x1, which is 2 whole squared, plus my y2, this one here, is negative 3, minus my y1, which is 1 whole squared. All right, let's put that into, you can put this into a calculator, or you can do it by hand. Negative 1 squared, which is 1, plus negative 4 squared, which is 16. This comes out as a square root of 17 for BC. Square root of 17 units. I figured out BC. Lucky loss. I need to do AC. Okay, AC, I'll just do it on this side, just to make it easier. This is my answer. Right. x2 minus x1 whole squared plus y2 minus y1 whole squared. All right, let's do it. I'm dealing with AC, so I'm going to relabel it all over again. x1, y1, x2, y2. My x2 is 1, so I'm going to substitute that in. 1 minus my x1, which is negative 2. So I'm going to put that into brackets, whole squared. My y2 is negative 3, minus my y1 is 0, whole squared. Okay, do this by hand, because why not? These two minuses turns into a plus. 1 plus 2 should equal to 3. 3 squared is 9, plus negative 3 minus 0 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. My answer turns into square root of 18 units. So AC is root 18 units. And that's it. That's me solving for question number A. Last but not least, question B, it says classify AB as scalene, isosceles, or equilateral. Give a reason why. So what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at my lengths, which are all the ones in green here. What I've noticed is AB and BC are exactly the same units. Yeah, the same length. And AC is the only one that's different. And from what I can tell is scalene is a triangle with different sides. Isosceles is a triangle with 2 sides that are exactly the same length. And equilateral, all 3 sides are exactly the same. So in this case, super easy. This is a isosceles triangle. And you can just say because AB and BC are of the same length. Super easy. And you can just write down root 17 units. Done. A very basic question. Okay, there might be a bit more complicated question when you are doing your questions, but you should be fine. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.